Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the Speak Up Erika podcast. Here we have part 2 with Anton. Yay.
What's up? What's up, girl? Hey.
Hey. So, in our first half, we talked about mostly therapy. And then in this half, we want to talk more about dating apps and then how that kind of affects your mental health. So, yeah.
We were gonna split it up. We decided to split it up after we just got way too deep into mental health. So.
Yay. So let's just get into it and I'll ask you my first question. When was your first experience of using dating apps?
Okay, so I want to say my first experience was, and it's really hard to remember years at this point. So I was I think it was the start of third year. When were we in third year? Do you remember? 2017? 2017, right?
Yeah, 2017.
2017-ish. And I was with like my second like really serious girlfriend. So we were dating for 2 years, and then we just drifted apart. Things happen. We broke up, and actually, so I started using Tinder very recently after that because it's a trade of sometimes growing apart from a person where you've already been doing it for like 2 months or something like that. So by the time you break up, you've already disconnected so far that you don't mind moving on.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember this clearly because I started using Tinder, and she texted me like the next week, and she sent me a screenshot of my profile, and she was like, "I found someone that you could date," and like it was this passive aggressive text, and I basically told her in no uncertain terms that she wasn't responsible for my love life anymore and that she needs to seek some help because she did.
Mm-hmm.
So the first time I started using Tinder was around that time. So it's really weird. You've used Tinder, right?
Like once?
Really?
Yeah.
No.
But not
oh my
really.
God.
Yeah. I feel like I can share my experience after.
So this is why you decided to invite me on. You're like, I need the only fuckboy who's been to therapy.
No, that's not why at all. I think that I know a lot of people who have used Tinder, and like I think it's so common and stuff, but we talk about it, but we don't talk about how it really affects us. Right? Yeah.
Okay, well.
That's funny. I can share my part though.
Okay, well, go ahead. My part's definitely longer, so go for it.
No. Do you want to finish yours?
No, it's okay. I'll go after you because seriously, there's a lot to say.
Okay,
There's a lot I can talk about. Yeah. So, what have been your experiences?
I think.
And also keep in mind, like you're a girl, so definitely like a different perspective would be nice. Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah. For me, the first time I used it, so I was in a relationship for 5 years since 2012. 2012.
It's hard, right? Yeah, it's hard to remember years.
13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Yeah, okay. So 2012 till 2018. And then, so Tinder happened in between that space, so I never used it because, but then when we broke up, I used it just to, like, I guess, meet people, but not really, like, get into relationships or anything. I guess just to talk to people. Well, there's a different app for that now, like Bumble BFF.
Right. Yeah. See, you're really weird because I remember us talking about this either in a call or somewhere else, and you said I use Tinder for finding friends, and I'm like, haha, me too. Yeah, get you. And then you're like, no, really, like just to find friends. And I'm like, seriously, really? Like, how? Like, my question is, how did you actually know that they were reliable friends and not just there to
want to or something?
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, so I feel like you notice initially when they first message you, obviously, because it's like the first message is like LOL, like are you white? Do you want white in you? And you're just like,
oh yeah,
you like what, like one of those stupid pickup lines, and you're just like, shut up.
No, that just brought back a ton of memories for me. From the other side.
I thought you would like that.
Yeah, no. That was lovely.
Yeah,
You'd make it well as a guy on Tinder.
I think that's like the first part is how they first interact with you, and the
Hmm.
second part would be how they carry a conversation, and if they're
Right.
actually like genuinely interested in you as a person.
Hmm.
Yeah. So, and then from there, I we add each other on Instagram, and or like we continue our conversation through text message. So I think
Hmm.
that there is like maybe 3 people that I've actually had genuine conversations with. And then one of them I actually ended up going to the Amine concert with, which was just super cool.
Yeah, man, you told me that.
Yeah.
That's awesome, man. Yeah.
Yeah, and, like, it wasn't anything weird, like,
Hmm.
like, we weren't trying to do anything, we're just friends and keeping,
Right.
you know? But yeah, I think during that point with my breakup and starting to end Tinder was when I was also started to see Matt, like, my current
Hmm.
boyfriend.
Hmm.
Um, so it was kind of weird because it's like I wasn't even there to talk to anyone because I knew that I
Hmm.
wasn't interested in anyone else. But
Yeah,
it's
that's
kinda like I
interesting.
don't wanna miss out on an opportunity like that
Hmm.
because I don't know, I feel like everyone just went through Tinder, so I was like, "Okay, well, what's it about anyways?" Right?
Mm.
So that's kind of me wanting to just experience it and see, like, what's up with
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's
Man,
my share.
that's awesome. Yeah, no, I feel like you're using it in the most wholesome way, and that everything that I've ever done with it just immediately becomes sacrilege. Um,
That's so funny.
yeah, no, it's funny that you mentioned that it was already kind of dying. You can sort of already see that now. Like I've
Yeah,
used it here already. And yeah, it's not that great here specifically.
in Taiwan.
Um, yeah, in Taiwan, yeah. I mean, it could be for other reasons, but other people have also told me that it's been dying.
Mm.
At the peak of it, so this is sort of when I started because I picked it up around 2017 when I broke up with my ex,
Like your
and
original ex? That's not weird. No, no, your
my original
yeah,
ex.
yeah, I met your first. My bad.
I no,
I said
I don't want to
second.
say her name.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like you
No, we
probably
don't have
won't.
to say yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Or I can say it and you can bleep it out with something funny.
That's
Yeah. Okay.
okay.
Let's no, let's do that. I want to.
Okay.
All right. Yeah. So I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when I broke up with her, um, I started doing the whole Tinder thing, and it's really weird when you come out of a relationship and you start doing Tinder because
Yeah.
it's kind of like
How do
you
you flirt?
don't. Yeah, dude. Oh my God. Yeah, you don't know what to say, and the first couple of times I struck the fuck out. It was so bad. Um, but also that kind of brings up, there's this dimension of Tinder which I think some people talk about, but like when I say I struck out, it means like I didn't really know how to message them, I didn't really know how to open up.
Oh, yeah.
But now I feel like if I go on it, I don't have it anymore. But if I go on it, I feel like I won't care that much, you
Yeah.
know,
Just like
because
whatever.
yeah. Like there used to be a period of time where me and my group of guy friends, we were on Tinder all the time, and man, I would make my guy friends their bios, and I would make up like things that they could say to girls, and it
Yeah.
worked, and I got the biggest ego boost from that.
Yeah.
But that's kind of like a novelty, right? So I feel like that's fun when you're at that age and there is that app that's super popular. And like, what does this app promise? You can
Yeah.
talk to cute girls, you can get attention and potentially sex, right?
Yes. Yeah. That's the
That's
top three.
huge.
Yeah, yeah.
That is the top three. That's huge. Like
Yeah.
to a 19, 20-year-old boy, I mean, or girl, like that's
Yeah.
huge,
Yeah.
right? Like, especially if you're attractive, and if you're not, it just makes you feel like shit.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, so there was that period where I was doing this stuff, and I'm not sure when I grew out of that, but there was a point where I grew out of that, and I just knew it because I was just way too lazy to try to make something up to make sure that the girl was gonna talk to me.
Yeah.
And it's not like I don't message them funny things, but now I don't really look for like, oh my God, are they gonna respond? Are they gonna think I'm cute? I'm like, well, like, what are they interested in? Like,
Wow,
like,
yeah.
yeah, it's like a deeper thing. Like, can we have like a nice date? Do they like to travel? Do they like to do new things? right? Because like when you're younger and all you really want is sex, you're kind of like, okay, well, I'm gonna go out with this girl. She's so cute, and like maybe you'll make some jokes and you'll have some fun and you'll do it, and then you're kind of like, okay, well, that's fine. Or because there's two sides to that too. Or
Yeah.
you'll start finding things that you like about that person, even though they're not really related to you.
Yeah.
But
What do you mean
at some point,
related?
well, like you might. I want to see if I can draw some example. Like I feel like it's very easy for you to romanticize someone, or like kind of project what you want. Like I dated this girl, from Quebec. I feel like you might know her too.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so she could speak French, and I was like, oh my god, French is so sexy, and that's true. That's absolutely true. But that's not a reason to date someone, right? Like
Yeah.
that's not like a deciding factor of how your future is going to go, whether or not they speak a sexy language. Um, like it could definitely be useful in the bedroom, but there's other things.
Yeah.
So yeah, like I was definitely a participant of that moment on Tinder where there's all these pickup lines, all these bios. It's fun, you get to go out, you meet lots of girls, you get to be cute in the same moment in the same bar, and then you bang. But I'm also not sure if that even exists anymore for the younger generation. I'm sure it does, but eventually you do grow out of that. And surprisingly, I think Bumble, especially here, is more popular. I don't know if it's the same in the West, but I think just giving women more power over the conversation and to start a conversation is just much better, right?
Why is that? Or why
Well,
do you think
because
that is?
on Tinder there's a kind of meta. I don't know if does Matt show you like League stuff that he plays? He plays League, right?
Yeah, he does.
Yeah. So has he ever talked about the meta?
I don't think so, no.
Ask him about the meta. So the meta is basically like the way things are. You'll find this a lot in online games where you have characters and they do certain things and it becomes a pattern. And the meta on Tinder was like, okay, cute guy, over 6 feet, funny bio, link to his Insta, matches with a cute girl. He messages her something funny. They start a conversation, go out, bang. Like that was. I feel like that was the formula,
Yeah, that's
right?
so funny. Yeah.
That is funny, but the
Yeah.
the thing is that also create like that's always the guy doing the work, and
Yeah.
it doesn't give. It puts pressure on some guys.
Hmm.
B, it doesn't give women much of a chance to be creative. Like they can definitely be creative in their responses, and I remember having some great conversation just because there was some nice banter back and forth.
Yeah.
But at the same time, girls should have a chance to start the conversation,
Hmm.
and I think that's what Bumble does. It says like, okay, well, if you want to talk to this guy, you have to message them first.
Yeah.
And so what Bumble does is it creates that opportunity for women to kind of like be upfront with whatever they want, or to make a joke, or to just say hi. And it kind of makes the guy feel special. Like a lot of my guy friends transitioned to Bumble in recent years, and sometimes we'll have the occasional conversation where it's just like, oh, this girl messaged me, hi, wow, I'm so important. Like it feels nice. Yeah,
Yeah.
it feels nice to get that first message and for you to actually have that ability to choose rather than having to be the one to go out and find stuff according to how our biology works.
Yeah.
So I guess that's been my experience with Tinder and Bumble.
Yeah. I think it's funny that you said that you would make up your friends' bios and stuff, because that's kind of
Yeah,
like
yeah.
when I created my Tinder, I was at a cottage and I was like, "Yo, like let's just mess around and just." I let all my guy friends at the cottage message back all the guys that
Oh
were
my god.
messaging me. So I just thought it was just like for games, but some people may take Tinder like in a different way, right? And it's not just a game to them because
Yeah.
you're just, oh wow, you just swipe left, swipe right, like that's a cool game.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But it's like these are actual people, right?
For sure, man. Yeah,
Yeah.
like It like that's what I mean. It really depends on your attitude going in because
Yeah,
like some people are there for fun, and it
yeah,
depends on like what point of your life you're in, like even what mood you're in, like day to day,
yeah,
right? Like you could be on there having fun, not being serious, and then there could actually be someone on there seriously looking for a relationship, and like I don't know. I don't want to comment on anybody's situation,
yeah,
but
yeah.
they might want to take it, or they might take it too seriously if you're joking around with them.
Mhm.
Um, and yeah, it's that's something that I think is missing from that entire sphere. I think Bumble's sort of like made up for it a little bit because they have those categories where it's like, okay, what are you looking for? A relationship or not sure yet? They have like a bunch of different categories. And I think a lot of other online dating does too, but Tinder just hasn't really. I think it's evolved to be the hookup app, so
Yeah,
they're
I
not
agree.
really, yeah, they're not really looking for anyone to be like, yeah, I'm looking for a relationship on here
Uh-huh.
in their bio. Um,
Yeah. I think in terms of mental health and using these dating apps, like if you're
mhm.
not cute, you definitely know right away
Oh
because
yeah.
you don't get matches. And I
Yeah.
guess in the long term that would really take on your mental health because the more you're using that app, you're like, wow, like I suck, I'm
Mhm.
this, and you just have all these negative beliefs in your head, right?
Yeah.
Of the person
Yeah.
that you are because of other people's views of you.
Mhm.
And
Yeah,
then
for sure.
yeah, the second part where it's just like a hookup culture where eventually that's just gonna mess with you or you'll fall in love or whatever with someone
Mhm.
and that will affect you. Or you're like,
Mhm.
okay, well, I'm just so sick of all these guys, they're all the same, blah blah blah. Right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. Um, yeah, like, well, the funny thing about the first part is like, okay, I don't think when an ugly person goes on Tinder that they don't know they're ugly, right?
Mm,
Like, because what, you have to be like 18-ish to go. I think they kind of know it, but that doesn't mean they don't still feel bad, right? And I would also say it's not because, well, it's obviously because they're not getting matches, but it's this kind of like it's a kind of FOMO, I think, where you want that experience where you might see your friends on Tinder, or you might see your friends saying like, oh, I'm gonna go on a Tinder date, blah blah blah. I've heard them called dick appointments.
oh my gosh, yes.
Yeah,
Wow, that's so funny. Yeah,
yeah, it brings
I've
back
heard that.
memories, doesn't it?
Right?
And
Yeah.
yeah, and so as a girl, I don't know why I'm speaking from the perspective of a girl, but I feel like as a girl, if you I think because in general girls are a lot more forgiving towards guys for being not as good looking if they can present enough personality, but guys are just brutal. Like
Brutal.
I just swiped left so hard that sometimes I wasn't even thinking about it. So
Yeah.
I guess that's why I'm speaking from a perspective of a girl. So if you're a girl who's not as attractive as other girls, and you see all your other girlfriends like going on these dates and getting all these matches, it'll make you feel even worse.
Mhm, mhm.
Um, but I don't know. That might also be a blessing because again, like it might sound cheesy. Looks aren't everything.
Yeah. It's true
Um,
though.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
true, and not sometimes not in the way that you'd expect. Like you might meet someone who's like super attractive, and then you go out with them and you just kind of realize like they're not, like they're just acting weird, or they're not as social, or they're being kind of mean you know
Mhm.
and I feel like that's also kind of like the toll of hookup culture on some people. But you might meet someone who's not like, they're not like your 10 out of 10, but they're nice and they share the same interests in you, and they're really open and they're really really sweet.
Mhm.
So that's the kind of gray area that's good to consider. And when I said that the hookup culture has this toll, I feel like if you're not in the right mind space to date,
Mm. Yeah.
um, especially if there's other stuff going on in your life, and you start going on Tinder, there's a few things that can happen. One, like you could get addicted to getting the matches, right? Because
Yeah.
you know
It's a
you go
game.
on there. It's a game, man. It's a
Yeah.
game. It's like anything, you know. there's definitely game theory associated with it,
Yeah.
where you have this pool of people, and you know that your score depends on how they score you.
Yeah.
So whenever you swipe right on that attractive person and you get that match, boom, endorphin hit,
Mm-hmm.
right? Yeah, that in itself can already get addicting. But also, if you start looking specifically for sex, rather than new experiences, because even when I said there was like the entire like hookup period with Tinder, I don't think I was there to be like sex, 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 right? Like these were. I mean, of course, my brain was, but
Yeah, yeah,
in
yeah.
I think more overall, I was looking forward to the experience, right? I'm like, wow, there's this really beautiful girl, and she wants to spend time with me. Like, let's see what we can do. Let's see where we can go. Like, how much fun we can have.
Yeah.
Like let's have like an interesting conversation. Let's do something romantic. If you throw all of that out the window and you just start thinking about sex, like it can end up with some really fucking bad dates. And like,
Mm-hmm.
I feel like if you've ever gone out with someone and you've thought like, why is this person acting so weird? I think they might be in that space where they're either just like,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, so like tunnel visioned on sex, or they've been like hurt before by someone who was.
Yeah.
Um, so I feel like that's another issue regarding mental health.
So with the whole Tinder and like I know we both said that the whole hookup culture, I don't know,
Mhm.
is it even still a thing? Because I feel like when obviously when Corona happened, everything
Mhm.
was on pause. You can't see anyone, and
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think
yeah, yeah,
um like those dating apps were definitely canceled for a bit. Right. So
yeah,
how do
yeah.
you think it has transitioned to now? Like you said, less people are using Tinder, more people are on
Mm.
Bumble, and like I know my friends, they're on Bumble BFF as well. Yeah.
Man, yeah, it's really hard to consider with the implications of Corona. Like, I feel like when when it, I feel like when it goes away, we're gonna see a major baby boom. That's what I think.
Whoa.
Because like everyone's been stuck inside, and when they'll actually be allowed to get out, because while they've been stuck inside, I don't think people actually stopped using Tinder or Bumble. I think maybe some people did, but I think a lot more started using it because you're inside, you're locked up, your coping mechanisms are going all over the place, and one thing to turn to is sex. And like you'll probably go on Tinder or Bumble. So while I've been here and while I've been on Tinder and Bumble, I've seen people from other countries swiping here and actually saying in their bio, "Hey, I'm stuck inside because of Corona. I'm just swiping here," because they started giving everyone like free global access, right?
Oh, did they?
Yeah, yeah, they did. So I don't know. I don't know. It's really hard to consider the implications of that.
Uh-huh.
Um, in terms of hookup culture, maybe it's gone away, but again, like I don't know. Even to say that, because what are the four things that all species do? Feeding, fighting. Man, maybe that's three. I I feel like I fucked up that joke big time, but
You want me
I
to
used
cut
to
that
be
out?
absolutely not. This is speak up raw, uncut. Um, feeding, fighting, and mating. It's a little biology joke, but yeah, like hooking up, I think is always going to be a part of the culture. Whether or not it's going to be prominent is still a question, but I
Nice.
don't know. I haven't really thought about it enough to make an accurate prediction.
Mhm.
Um, I think what's really going to deter people from downloading those apps and going at it is that they'll realize how much time they consume because they'll
Yeah.
be so much more aware of their time. Like that's something that I realized while I've been here and I've been working on some other stuff, is that when you're on it, like you notice you're on it, but then if you stop noticing, you can easily sink like half an hour into it. And then if you start talking to a person, that's more time. And if you start talking to multiple people, that's way more time. So you could
Wow.
easily sink a few hours into it, no problem. And I think with people being so aware of time after Corona and after they get back to doing what they want to do, that might be the thing that deters them.
That's true. That they're more self-reflective on how they
Yeah,
use, like, no,
exactly.
I guess not even dating apps, just like apps in general and how they
Hmm.
consume any type of media, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, that's
exactly.
so true. Yeah,
Yeah,
I think also, like, sure, Tinder will die, but then there'll be a new app that comes out that people will use. So kind
yeah.
of like Vine got taken away and it dies, and now there's TikTok. I think that there'll just be a new thing that comes out that's
Mm.
maybe better than what are we talking about? Tinder.
Tinder.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's gonna be Tin Talk.
TikTok, yeah.
Tin Talk.
I guess before all this social media stuff was happening, people in the 90s and 80s or whatever, they're still probably hooking up all the time, but just in a different way, like they met through
Yeah,
clubs or something.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Or they had
Yeah.
Christian
Met at
mingle.
Woodstock. Met
Yeah.
at Woodstock.
What's Woodstock?
Oh my God, no, you can't say that on your own podcast. What's Woodstock?
What's Woodstock?
It's a place where people got super high on hallucinogenics and had a lot of sex in the
Oh.
70s.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow. Yeah.
Someone please call me out on
Not cultured. I'm
that.
not cultured.
Me neither. I just talk so much shit about things that I don't know.
um,
Um,
but yeah, I
yeah.
think it's just the way that the I guess hookup culture
Mm.
transforms into different generations. It's like
You
through
know,
different.
what? Okay, here's an idea that came to mind. Do you
Okay.
notice some of your friends getting OnlyFans accounts?
One, I have seen
Yeah,
one.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. I've seen it with like two or three.
yeah.
I think I accidentally convinced a friend from Japan to get an OnlyFans because she didn't know what it was, and I'm like, yeah, people pay you monthly for nude pictures, and she's like, okay, maybe I will make account. And I'm like, what? Okay.
Oh, but she knows what it's about then.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Well, no, she didn't until I told her because she's from
yeah,
Japan.
yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah, that might be a quality of the Corona quarantine as well. Like
True.
because so many girls are stuck inside, and you know, they can't go outside and hoe around, so they start hoeing around online,
Mhm.
and then they're eventually like, wait, why am I doing this for free? I
Mhm.
used to get drinks, and now I
Mhm.
get nothing. And then they go on OnlyFans and they start posting titty pictures for money.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
get that. I feel like well, also with the whole Pornhub thing and canceling Pornhub because of, like the
that's
child trafficking and all that kind of stuff. And then this, like, I've seen this on Twitter
yeah.
that, well, OnlyFans is a way to like support, yeah, locals, I guess, like
Oh my
support
god.
smaller and like actually make sure that like that stuff.
Oh, never mind. I thought you were gonna say
Oh,
it's like a source of child trafficking.
oh, no, 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 no. Like to
Yeah,
support, like to
yeah,
actually like be able to support those people and pay them for
yeah.
their services, right? In the rent
No, for sure.
or
Yeah, that I
yeah,
definitely support. In
yeah.
terms of Pornhub, I haven't really read up on it. I know there was like a girl who was like she like 14 and she had her rape posted on there, and then they didn't take it down right away.
Mhm.
Is that what the argument
Yes,
is?
but also that there's so many more cases and so many
Mm,
like there's just a crap ton of cases
right,
like that, and it's just not regulated on Pornhub. Like they
right,
don't really
right.
care as because they just make so much money off of whatever.
I see. Okay, I kind of get that, but when I don't what I don't like about this cancel culture is that a lot of people talking about it probably don't know like how the inner working or maybe they do know they aren't willing to empathize with the inner workings of a company because there's probably like two guys that are responsible for all of the 300 billion videos that are on Pornhub.
Yeah.
So when someone says like I had my rape posted to there and it wasn't taken down, obviously that's a horrible thing, but that's just a matter of resources not being able to support that sort of like search effort, or
Mm,
even like you know to email them for support. Like I told you about the situation where I made my three accounts. I wanted one account for photography, one for comics, and one for other art. and I made them all at the same time for Instagram, and Instagram banned me almost immediately within days, and all three accounts, by the way. And so I emailed them, or I logged a support ticket. They emailed me, and they told me to send them like a photo with like my name and a code written on a piece of paper and stuff like that, and the account name. And I did that, and they emailed me and they said that I was banned, and I said, like, why? How can I be banned? I've never even used these accounts. And
Yeah.
I emailed them a few more times after that, and they didn't respond to me. And as much as it enrages me to think about that, I get it, because even a department of like 50, 70 people for a company as massive as Instagram or Facebook, like it's fair that they can't get to that.
Mhm.
Imagine having like the influx of, like, how many users do you think Instagram has, like, ballpark? Maybe like
Like,
2 billion?
yeah, billions for sure.
Yeah, billions, right? Like, they cannot. And even if 100 million of those people are logging requests
Mhm.
for support, you just cannot get to everything.
Mhm.
So at the same time, like, people raging at Pornhub, like, I get it. Like, that's a terrible thing. Like, a rape video wasn't taken down. That's terrible. But there's probably a department of like 3 guys and like some tech support and some other people handling all of the videos,
Mhm.
right? Like, all of it. So that's really what I don't like about this cancel culture, is like they're saying like cancel Pornhub. Pornhub needs to be. Dude, do you know how many unique visitors Pornhub has per day?
Mhm.
Per day, the numbers are wild. The amount of horny men and women that go on Pornhub, but mostly men that go on Pornhub, is ginormous, and they're not going to stop because chances are they don't even know about this case.
Mhm.
So I feel like instead of saying cancel Pornhub and shouting it from the rooftops to nobody, you can say, okay, what is the inefficiency in this organization that allowed this to happen?
Mhm.
Right? Like, go at it from an institutional perspective. See where did management fail? Demand that the leadership take responsibility, and that they show what they're doing in order to remedy the situation. Because you're not going to cancel it,
Mhm.
right? You're definitely not going to cancel it. The most that
Mhm.
you can do is annoy these people enough to make sure that they know that there is a problem and that
Mhm.
it will keep happening. And
Mhm.
most certainly that it's illegal. Like, that's the big part, because they actually do care about that stuff, that it's illegal, because their site can be taken down by the government, not just by people saying cancel Pornhub. So
Mhm.
make sure that they know that it's illegal. Make sure that they know that something went wrong, and demand that there's transparency in how they deal with future changes, and who they recruit, and maybe how they restructure to avoid that.
Uploading videos and stuff like that.
Uploading
Yeah.
videos,
Yeah.
you know, even
Yeah.
taking reports, logging reports, making sure the reports are being scanned thoroughly. Like, there's a bunch of facets to this. Like, an independent consultant could have a field day with it.
Mhm.
So that's really, like, from my perspective, that's the route that people should take, not cancel. Because what is cancel?
Mhm.
Nothing.
Yeah.
It
I've
doesn't mean
had
anything.
this conversation with someone, not, specifically about Pornhub, but about cancel culture and how
Yeah.
it shouldn't be a thing because, I mean, I guess even not from a not talking about like a company canceling a whole company,
Mhm.
by canceling people. And like if
Yeah.
someone makes a mistake, then they're just canceled. Where they
Right.
should learn from that mistake, which is kind of what you're saying with the
Right.
company. Learn from it, change it, and like how to be better, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
The-
oh man,
yeah.
that's a huge
There's
thing too.
the funny thing is, it's there's no actual way to cancel somebody. you
Mhm.
know like, because I mean, there are certain rules in place, and if you break the rules, you're punished. But, like, if you're talking about like socially canceling out someone, or like, I don't know what the word cancel means. Like, okay, do you mean like you shut them out of career opportunities, or you shut them out of like trying to make a profit? Because there's always ways for someone to succeed,
Mhm.
right? Like, I think it's an appeal to the arrogance that people have, that they can assume that they have enough control over someone's life to be able to, quote unquote, cancel them, right?
Mhm.
Like, that's not the way that humans work,
Mhm.
right? Even socially, like canceling someone out, like throwing them out of something. Our population is big enough and global enough that they will still find an audience. Like, look at people like Trump. Look at people
Mhm.
like um, who's that? Oh man, I have a person in mind, but I cannot remember his name. He's that. He's a far right. He's like a gay correspondent. He had a lot of controversy, saying something about like how can I hate black people if I suck black dicks or something like that.
Whoa.
Yeah, like I think he might have said something.
Yeah. I
Anyways,
don't
the
know the
name
person,
the
but
name
yeah.
escapes me, but yeah, like those people, they still have an audience. They still have an audience. So there's no way to cancel someone, and I think it's kind of like a wasted effort to be like, okay, well, we're going to ruin you, we're going to destroy you, because it's
Hmm.
not gonna happen.
Yeah.
It's just not. Focus on what you can teach someone, or just focus on your own life and making things better around you. Lead by example.
Hmm.
That would be my opinion.
I completely agree with what you're saying, that some people can't be canceled because there's going to be people who agree with what they're saying or what they're doing. Like, there's always going to be two sides to
Mm-hmm.
everything, and there's going to be people who agree with Trump and people who
Mm-hmm.
don't agree with Trump, for example, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I can see how it can't always be a thing because they're just going to be two things.
Exactly, man. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh man. Okay. Yeah. This got really.
there,
We
there's
got.
there's been quite a tangent.
Yeah.
We started on dating apps and we finished off with Trump and cancel culture,
Yeah.
which honestly, that's where most conversations nowadays go. So it's pretty normal for us.
Yeah.
I
That's
I
fair.
feel. Yeah.
I feel like we can go on for hours and just like
Oh,
keep talking more
man.
about
Yeah,
this.
for sure.
Yeah. I just want to say thank you, Anton. Thank you for sharing
Of
about
course.
like your own therapy experience and
Hmm.
dating experience. I know that it's not easy for everyone to talk about it. So thank
Hmm.
you so much. Do you want to leave any of your social media with us or tell us other ways that we can support you?
Yeah, so I'm on Instagram at Anton Mix, ANtonMyks. Um, once I come back to Canada, I'll probably have a few projects going, because clearly this whole having a Chinese IP is not sitting well with Instagram.
Hmm.
So
So
if
strange.
anyone, yeah, it's really weird. If anyone wants to follow me there and tune in, I will be doing great things. That is a promise in time.
Hell yes.
Um, yeah, and I think other social media I might actually be getting rid of, because we were talking about that before.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think Instagram's the main place to find me, and yeah, thank you so much for having me on here. I've been a big supporter since the beginning. Your book, I have a picture of us at your launch party
Mm.
where we're blocking some of the letters, and I think it says "pu" accidentally. I don't know if you remember that. Instead
That's
of
so
"speak up."
funny. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So I've been a big supporter of this, and I'm really happy to see you taking this to the next level. I hope you continue with it. I hope you do events. And yeah, good luck with it. And thank you so much for having me.
Oh, thanks, Anton.